Hi guys, it's Dinosaur Fred, and it's time for another Let's All Play Pokemon X and Y. So this week, my opponent will be Nick, or NSK Universe, as his YouTube name dictates. So anyways, this battle I'm going to be using my standard team once again. I actually was going to use my new team, which... It wasn't quite finished building yet. I was missing a couple of key items, so unfortunately I was not able to use that team in this particular battle. But anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna be using my standard team. I have found a couple of flaws with this team, and I don't think I will be using it much more. I've noticed a big flaw that I actually don't have any fighting attacks on this team, which is... I gotta say, fighting moves are pretty essential in Pokemon, just because fighting can take down a lot of common types, and it's a very robust type when you're trying to use it offensively. And unfortunately, this team does not have any fighting moves, which kind of sets it back against some more prominent threats. So I've noticed that a lot with this team, so this might be one of the last few moments that we actually see this team around. But anyways, let's just get this battle started. So anyways, Nick is issuing a challenge, and he's going to be sending out his Aegislash. Aegislash is a Pokemon that I feel has a lot of potential in the new generation. It's a very good Pokemon. It has strong defenses and strong offenses, which is interesting because it has this ability where when you use an offensive move, it goes full-out offensive. It has very high attack because of that, but when you're using a move that doesn't do damage, it will go into a defensive stance, which, you know, can protect it. But Aegislash is a very good Pokemon, and I do want to train one eventually. I haven't gotten around to it, but I've seen it used very effectively in a lot of battles, and it is kind of annoying to beat just because it has Ghost... it's a Ghost Steel type, which is I think that's one of a kind in Pokemon, and it has a lot of good resistances, so yeah, there you have it. Unfortunately, I was actually juked here. It was not an actual Aegislash, it was a Zoroark, which is another Pokemon that I actually absolutely hate. I've actually been taken down by one because it took a form on another Pokemon on the team, and I thought I had a chance to set up, but they set up and killed me instead. So that kind of sucks, but anyways, I don't know why Nick is using a Charmeleon. Maybe he hasn't evolved it to a Charizard yet, but in terms of typing, his team seems pretty solid in that case. If this thing evolved into a Charizard, like, the team he has pretty solid typing, so I guess that's what he was trying to go for here, but unfortunately this thing hasn't evolved yet, so it's not going to output the power that a Charizard has, so... There you have it. Now Nick goes ahead and sends out his Floatzel, which unfortunately gets caught in the Hippo's Earthquake right here, which is devastating. If I remember correctly, Floatzel actually doesn't have very strong defenses, so it just gets taken down very hardly right there, unfortunately. Even though, you know, Floatzel was probably a pretty good counter against the Hippo. So anyways, Nick goes ahead and sends out his Lucario, which... you know, Lucario is a very strong Pokemon. It can deal a lot of damage. Even though the Hippo is a physical wall, Lucario can do a significant amount of damage against it, just because Lucario is pretty boss. Especially Mega Lucario. Mega Lucario has a huge attack stat, and obviously a close combat is a very powerful stab attack from Lucario, so it's gonna do some damage, as you can see there. It took over half of the Hippo's hit points, but unfortunately I was able to pull off an Earthquake after it, which, obviously Lucario is very weak against ground types just because, you know, it's a steel type and it doesn't have high defenses, so that's the reason why, you know, I decided to stay in and pull off an Earthquake, because I knew that the Hippo could tank it, so there you have it. Now, Nick decides to send out his Xerneas. I think that's how you pronounce that Pokemon name. I'm not 100% sure on that, but Xerneas is the new legendary in Pokemon X, and it is very powerful. I'm not 100% sure about its stats, but... since it's like a fairy legendary type, it's very unique because of that. But I go ahead and send out Ferrothorn, just because Ferrothorn is a steel type and it will resist the majority of Xerneas' attacks. And Iron Barbs is very useful against Xerneas, just because Xerneas has a lot of physical attacks. And Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet will just knock it down here. Like, right here, actually, for some reason, I don't decide to use Steel moves. I think this is one of the battles where I'm still kind of getting used to Fairy types. For some reason, like, I always think that fighting types are good against Fairy types, but it's actually not. It's actually Steel and Poison that are very good against Fairies, so... kind of a new typing. I don't know why I didn't use Gyro Ball, which probably would have taken it down pretty quickly. I just go ahead and keep setting up my my entry hazards. I really love entry hazards. If you guys haven't noticed, they're phenomenal. So I just keep setting up layers of spikes. The more layers of spikes, the more damage a Pokemon takes once it switches in. I think 3 layers of spikes is something like 3/16 of the entire hit points. It's quite a bit, and then couple that with Stealth Rock, which is 1/8 about. It can get pretty hairy for the other Pokemon. So, anyways, there was a double knockout here, which is pretty funny. So now Nick goes ahead and sends out his Aegislash, and I go ahead and send out Iroh, which is my Charizard X. It was a good choice because I did, think about it. I was like, okay, he has Aegislash left and he has Charmeleon left, so why not send out Charizard, who is pretty much superior to both, especially Charizard X, because Charizard X is just a boss, it's that thing, man. A single Dragon Dance brings out its attack so high, and it's just ridiculous how strong this thing can hit. So now Aegislash, as I said before, it uses its special ability called Stance Change, and when it uses an attack, it will actually do massive damage. But unfortunately, Aerial Ace is not very good with what do you call it? Aegislash, just because it's not a stab move, and it doesn't do too much damage. So now I go ahead and send off a Flare Blitz, which I knew was going to knock it out, just because Aegislash in the attack form does not have a lot of hit points, or not a lot of defense, so it will go down pretty easily. So now Nick goes ahead and sends out his Charmeleon once again, and it unfortunately takes a lot of damage from Stealth Rocks and Spikes, as you can see. So yeah, this is why I love entry hazards. It's just so dang good. So I go ahead and pull off a Roost, because Charizard took a lot of damage from the Flare Blitz, which has a lot of recoil. And then Charmeleon goes off with the Dragon Rage. Once again, I think this move was just because the Charmeleon hasn't been fully evolved yet. So, just gotta let it slide. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be, like, super strong at this point. But anyways, there's a battle. So anyways, that's the end of the battle. Unfortunately for Nick, I have to say that even though I like his team's balance of typing, there wasn't an overall coherence in terms of team synergy. It would have been very beneficial for Nick to sport a tanky Pokemon to absorb some of the damage that my Pokemon had initially inflicted, instead of relying on more fragile sweepers. Fragile sweepers, as powerful as they are weak against tanks such as the Hippo, and with the presence of entry hazards, it can really hamper their effectiveness in battle. I personally feel that if Nick had a few tanks on his team, this battle would have looked completely different. But anyways, thank you for playing with me, Nick. So if you guys like what you see, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more info on the Let's All Play series. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you guys on the next one.